Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level. For the $5 tier, we'll grant the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience. All around you. And welcome back to another episode of the Filmistines. Thank you for joining us today. I'm joined today by my hearty friend, Lucy.
Hello, everyone. Your hearty friend? Like, made of heart?
Yes.
Or has a heart?
Yes.
All right.
How you feeling today?
A little under the weather. You know how it is. Fall season coming in, fucking up everybody's.
Yeah, fall just started a couple days ago.
Oh, for real?
Yep.
21st?
Yeah, 21st, 22nd.
Okay.
Equinox just happened.
Ooh. Well, the equinox is fucking up with my allergies and sinuses, or a cold, whatever this is.
I'm glad you could be here today, and I hope we can work through your illness.
You're welcome.
We can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes of the Filmistines. Recent episodes include Isle of the Dogs, the famous Wes Anderson movie. Go check out our Patreon exclusive episode covering the first season of Netflix's live action adaptation of One Piece, Landscape with Invisible Hand, the strange mixed bag of a movie, Talk to Me, and the worst movie of the year, Strays. But today we are covering a Netflix movie, actually. El Conde, Pablo Larraín's El Conde. This movie spoke to me because it was black and white. That's how shallow I am.
Damn.
I was like, that's weird. It looks real kind of melodramatic and maybe theater. And I was like, oh, okay, that looks interesting. So I look into the director and I'm like, oh, wow, he's got some interesting movies that I want to see, including Spencer with the girl from Twilight, where she
The
plays
main girl? Bella?
Yeah, but what's her
Kristen
name?
Stewart.
Kristen Stewart. Yeah, she plays, I think, the Queen of England or something at some point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, well, this has maybe some pedigree behind it. I was like, okay, I want to check this out. So I dropped this little nugget on you, and I
And little nugget did you drop?
Yep. So I guess right off the top, did you or did you not like this movie? Do you think I liked this movie?
Yes, I think you liked this movie. I think you thought it was funny and cinematographical. It looked good. I think you think it looked good. And were you good on the performances? I don't know. I'm curious how you felt about the performances, but I think you liked it. I don't think it was a 5 for you. Maybe not even a 4, but definitely a 3+.
A 3+? Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I think you liked this movie, but I think you thought it was too long.
Interesting.
I think that's yeah. So we'll see. But I will say I did like this movie.
Okay.
But
okay.
Maybe not as much as you think.
Oh.
Yeah, there's some things I like about it, but it's maybe I'm projecting myself. I definitely think this movie's way too long. No, excuse me. I think this movie's maybe 15 minutes too long. 20 minutes. Let's see how long it is. Yeah, maybe 10 to 20 minutes too long. I'm not sure where I would have shaved any of that off. It may have been 30 seconds here, 15 seconds here, 40 seconds here. There was no sequence that I thought was dragging on or anything that I can recall right away. But I was getting bored at moments, I guess. Not in a bad way, but I don't know. It didn't. Maybe we can talk about it. But yeah, man, talk to me a little bit about how El Conde spoke to you.
Well, I guess it'll surprise you that I didn't think it was too long. I didn't feel how long it was, which is, rare for me.
That's a great sign.
That's the first thing that I feel when it's too long and I'm just getting antsy or like pausing it to look how much is left, which I didn't do any of that, so we're good. I did like it but there's something about it that I just wasn't sold on. I like that it was in black and white. I like that a lot. And I really like how funny and dark it was. Like, for something being black and white and still give me this gruesome element, you did a fantastic job. It did give me kind of like artsy fartsy kind of vibes. You know what I'm trying to say?
Sure, especially the flying elements, the flying bits. It almost feels like it is on a stage in a theater where it's just like he's on a wire and he's just moving and it's real kind of detached from the background stuff. And I do get the feeling of it being overacted in that way, maybe, which I think is always welcome in a Dracula vampire kind of setting.
Sure.
And I think that helps with all the close-ups and stuff of everybody, which I like a lot. That's probably my favorite part about the movie is the close-ups, especially my favorite. I guess I'll just say after at the top too that my favorite scene is when she's the nun is investigating everybody.
Yeah.
And there's close-ups on everybody, and she's getting everybody's story and everybody's kind of perspective on the matter. And at the same time, wasn't Augusto, what was he doing? He was doing something. And I liked the back and forth. I can't remember exactly what he was doing. I think he was getting blood. I think he was about to eat hearts.
Yes.
And I liked the back and forth, and I liked the close-ups on her and everything. And
she just looks really good in a black and white setting. And, you know, you have to think about that a little bit when you're hiring actors who look good in black and white. And I guess just something about her, maybe that she was paler, I guess, compared to the other people. I guess she was French, or supposed to be French, and everybody else was from Chile. So, you know, just something about her made her stand out in a black and white. So I like that.
She was like the youngest too. She had no blemishes.
That's true.
She had a good complexion and everything. So yeah, she was a big contrast in that way, especially in black and white, because she's, you know, it's all about the contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
I guess one thing I didn't like about this film was that the narrator, I felt like she over-explained a little bit. And maybe I was a little too preoccupied on who she was. Who the fuck is this talking to me? And on the very few reviews I saw, quite a few people were like, yeah, I knew who she was the whole time. And I'm like, how did you know who she was the whole time?
That's impossible.
Like, that's stupid.
You may have known that she was his mom. You may have had that kind of feeling.
Yeah. That's what they mean. That's what they mean.
Oh, not the prime minister?
No, not the prime minister.
Or whoever.
That it was his mom.
Okay.
Or that it was his mom. I'm like, I don't know about that. Maybe I'm dumb. I don't think so, but...
Well, nothing that was just a hunch. There's nothing built up to that point. It was just kind of a reveal that had no setup, and that's
well, it was a bit distracting for me, I guess.
Okay.
Like, who is this British person? We have Spanish here, we have English here, we have, I guess, English, British English. How do you say that?
British English, yeah.
British English. And then we had French. So, okay, who are you, lady?
No matter what language you listen to this in, the English sections are English. They stay English. It's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do have a whole mixed bag of languages here. Was the Chile Spanish noticeably different than Mexican Spanish?
Yes, because mainly the accent.
The accent.
And I've always found that a little bit confusing, but you know, it's the same as British English and American English.
Yeah, I would imagine that it's influenced by, I guess, the German there. Because that's the second primary language there, or secondary language.
Yeah, I kind of like it, but I felt like our girl, what's her name, Carmen?
Yeah.
That she was speaking a different kind of Spanish, or maybe hers was learned or something. She sounded more Mexican Spanish than Chilean Spanish. So you even have that little element in there, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, so what do you think about the alt history on the famous terrible dictator, Augusto Pinochet?
That was something I definitely had to think about after watching the film. And I feel like that made me appreciate it a little bit more, just on how silly they made this man look, and just how, I mean, the film was funny, and it's funnier when you know, analyze it and when you think about it, how this was a awful person that did awful things, but in this film he looks like, I don't know, a creepy old man vampire dude, and he looks weak and just wants to die and give up.
Yeah, he's miserable.
Yeah, and then he, you know, and I think in a scene he blames the people and how they just never understood him and what he was trying to do for them, and how ungrateful they were. I think that's what he said. They were ungrateful. And it's just hilarious how you can take, I mean, I'm sure there's many Hitler ones out there, you know, but it's always funny when they do that to them, when they do that to these awful people and just make a satire out of it.
Yeah, they kind of memorialize their kind of absurd actions, and I guess in this case we memorialize his misery and hating his life and having kids that just want him to die so they can take everything from him. And then his woman is, you know,
sleeping with the
butler,
the butler,
the housekeeper,
his Renfield,
yeah.
And it's funny that now we're adding like a young girl into the picture, and you know, I'm sure this dude was like a womanizer or tried to be or something, and they probably played along with that.
I think that's a requirement to be some kind of fascist.
A womanizer?
To be a womanizer.
Yeah.
I think that's an important part.
So I love that. I
liked how he walked around with his walker and he would slam it down. Like, they made that real extra, and I like that a lot. I feel like that's, I don't know, but I feel like that's a very theater thing to kind of make actions like that kind of dramatic.
Yeah, like exaggerate his movements.
Yeah.
How did you feel about his performance overall?
I thought he was the star, I guess, next to our French girl, our nun, Carmen, right?
Yeah, Carmen.
Yeah, I think they were obviously, you know, meant to be the stars and stuff, but and I think they both did an excellent job. And I think the kids all did really fine. It reminded me of like Knives Out or something, where we have this family come together and they don't really seem to like each other. They're just kind of suffering through this meeting, hopefully the last meeting, where they can kind of figure out who gets what and stuff. And they don't like their dad. They don't seem like their mom. Like, no one seems to like each other, and it's funny. And then we have this kind of almost Downton Abbey reveal, or like very dramatic period piece reveal, that the mom is hooking up with the housekeeper, butler, you know, Renfield type character, who is also pretending basically to be Augusto and fucking murder people and stuff, or eat their hearts, because he's also a vampire. And it's just like, I could see this being a show, actually. Something like cross between What We Do in the Shadows and something like Downton Abbey. Just kind of this, like, maybe a little funnier, I guess, hence the What We Do in the Shadows, but like somewhere in between the two. I guess is it worth mentioning the, like, people making films about terrible people like this anyways? Because I did see some comments out there about how they can't believe Pablo here, a Chilean director, would want to make, I guess, just a movie, because I wouldn't call it a flattering movie. This is not,
no,
you know,
he's not in a good light whatsoever.
No, I mean, he's not in necessarily an ugly light either, but he is. We capture his misery in the world. I don't know, like,
I think we did capture the ugly side. I think we captured his weakness, especially giving him a fucking walker. I
mean, I guess that's true. I mean,
him falling like that, even though that was weird. That I thought she was gonna come back.
That was weird. And
like maybe stab him, or at least help him up or something. But you know, we're making him fall.
She was falling in love with him, you know.
That's true.
Which I like.
I like that too.
No, that's an excellent point, because people like him have a history of hiding stuff like that, hiding that they can't walk right, hiding that they're sick, things like that. And so that's actually a really excellent point. I forget about that. So it's just undeniable that he is made to look silly here. I wouldn't say ugly, but definitely silly.
Yeah. Maybe silly. Yeah, silly. That's a good way of putting it.
Which he does, and the poster kind of only ties into that too, because they give him pink sunglasses.
Yes.
It's funny. It's good. It's a very good film.
But what were you saying about people? They didn't like that he was doing this about him?
Yeah, I saw some comments out there saying that specifically Augusto here, but you can extrapolate that to the Hitler things like in Jojo Rabbit or something, or other movies that I'm not thinking about right now, and that they should just be kind of maybe only referenced, or like, if the only film that should be made around them is a film that kind of displays their disgusting actions kind of thing, and that anything else is just, I guess, not acceptable. I just think it's, I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm doing a great job explaining that, but I just feel like I feel like it's the ultimate win for people who hate Augusto, which I'm sure there are many millions of people, including the director here.
Mm-hmm.
I would think. No, I don't really know too much Chilean history, but making someone like him look like the way they do, and him in a walker, and him fall, and have his wife cheat on him, and things like that, like, that's,
his kids hate him.
Isn't that the ultimate win, to make someone like him look like?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're not.
It's almost like if you show their badness, like all the, bad stuff they did, all the people they killed, blah, 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 you're only making them, you're not glorifying them, but you're just showing probably what they're proud of. But if you show their weakness and you show them in this light, that's better. That's so much better.
I agree. It's a little confusing. I don't know. I guess people just don't always see it quite like that.
Yeah, and I saw an interview with the director, and when he was asked what he was trying to say with this movie, basically, he said that he wanted to be able to approach a subject that has caused a lot of people pain and just make fun of it.
I don't know how you can't just applaud that, you know? Whether it's funny or not, someone making the joke is, in its own right, very admirable,
No, I agree.
Because it's, this is, there was a time, maybe 30, 40 years ago, where if he was to make this kind of film, he would have been killed.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't know if Augusto was like that.
I'm sure he was. Yeah. Look at him.
He looks, very militant. I guess we get a little bit of background on that. I'm sure there's some truth in that, right? Minus him being part of the French Revolution and everything, but but that's, I don't know. It's just really like that. It just feels like, it's just so kind of frustrating that this is exactly the kind of movie you would want to make. And if you don't think this funny, make a funnier one. Yeah. Make one that makes him look even worse, and if, see what, I know that's easier said than done. You might need several $1 million to get the job done and everything, but,
Make him wear a diaper. I don't know.
What do you think of the location? It's kind of funny that he's not like in a mansion. He's on a piece of shit farm, really.
And it just shows, again, his misery. What he was this, grand, powerful thing, and now he lives in the shittiest of farms.
He has to hide, It's funny. I do like it a lot.
Yeah. My favorite scene was when she's trying to, get the devil out of him. She's basically performing an exorcism on him, and she just gets, so overwhelmed, and then just has sex with him. And it was funny, because she just couldn't contain herself.
And I do like that they kind of own that from, the Dracula angle, where Dracula's just so sexy, no matter how he looks, he just is the embodiment of sexy, so he's just, you can't reject him. And I do kind of like that they took that angle and ran with it here, which I guess does kind of glow him up just a little bit, but for the sake of it being funny, though, of course.
Yeah, I guess it glows him up a little bit, but then immediately, I guess after he bites her, that's it, and he's done, and he's still on the floor, and she's over here, having a grand old time, but where's he? He's still laying in the hay.
Yeah. And then his mama shows up and tells him to, like, what are you fucking doing? Get rid of this. And then he's a little puppy, so he's got to listen.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about the like landscape and all those landscape shots?
It's very cool. The city shots, too, very cool. I like modern black and white films because there's a crispiness to them that I like a lot. The one thing I wish that was a little bit different was, which I wish more films just experimented with this, but it may just be a lot to ask for based off of how movies are shot or something. But I don't see why it can't really happen. I'm sure it can, but that's the aspect ratio kind of change. I wish this would have squared up just a little bit instead of being, the normal 9:16 whatever. Kind of like the beginning of Lighthouse. I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen that? Yeah, we'll have to watch that. But at the very beginning, it's got almost a square. I don't know if it's a 3:4 aspect ratio, but it might just be a square, it's very cool. But they lose it too, and 10 minutes in, I'm just like, I wish that'd been cool if it was if movies just in general kind of explored that a little bit more, and I could have seen that here. But then again, you don't want it to look too beautiful as far as like set design and just how like loving everything is crafted, like a Wes Anderson movie, because all of a sudden it's too beautiful, and we don't want to. Of course, you don't want to glorify anyone in this, so you might. I guess that's kind of the balance, but that was kind of missing for me because I feel like the movie was sort of asking for it, especially with how cool it looked and how beautiful the landscapes were. I feel like cranking that up a little bit more could have made the ugly people look uglier.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's, I guess, hard to know without seeing it, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a great job at making the ugly people look ugly.
I like that all of his kids were, like, hairy and old, and, like, it was funny.
And just rude, and just... They annoyed me, and, annoyed me like, ugh, who are these people? Like, who are these actors? But annoyed me like, these are bratty-ass kids. Like, you deserve these bratty-ass kids.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you bring up Wes Anderson, because I was looking at reviews on YouTube, and there was this YouTube video, and it was called Wannabe Wes Anderson Film.
About this?
About this. I clicked it, because, I looked up, El Conde reviews, and that popped up. And I was like, what is this? And they basically just talked about how it was a wannabe Wes Anderson film. And they did not like it. I was like, I don't think we watched the same movie here. Unless it was just clickbait and they made me click it and I watched it. So, hey, you accomplished.
Did he bring it up in the video?
What?
About it being a Wes Anderson ripoff?
Yes.
That doesn't sound like clickbait then. That is interesting. It's got the dryness like a Wes Anderson film, I guess, but yeah, it's not.
But wannabe?
Yeah, definitely not wannabe. The only Wes Anderson wannabes I know of are Nacho Libre and Napoleon Dynamite, and they stand on their own too, but they are.
Those are Wes Anderson wannabes?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think they could. I think it could go both ways. I think some of Wes Anderson's movies could do better with some Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre in them, but I also think especially Nacho Libre could have been a 10 out of 10 movie with just a little bit more Wes Anderson in there.
Nacho Libre is already a 10 out of 10, my friend. Just saying.
No, not quite. It's close. It's an amazing film.
It is an amazing film. Probably one of my favorites, if I had to narrow it down.
Yeah, I don't see the Wes Anderson in this for it to be called a wannabe. There's not enough, like, characters are the closest thing I think we get to that, but they're just dry, satirical characters. Like, that's all over the place.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he brought up because I was busy thinking about it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a curveball because I feel like the core of Wes Anderson is aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think so. Not here.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't see it at all. That's what made me think clickbait, but he didn't bring it up, so who knows? Did you notice that bag of water or whatever that was? I'm assuming water tied to the chandelier?
Mm-mm.
Well, there was a bag, like a plastic bag. Like, think of the like plastic produce bags that you get
Yeah.
at like Walmart or whatever, and it looked like one of those plastic bags was filled with water, and then it was tied to the chandelier.
That's weird.
That was weird. Oh, I thought you noticed that.
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I had no idea why. All right, cool. It was weird. I didn't look it up on why.
I will say the set deck here is it's interesting. I really like his room, Augusto's room, where he's got this mattress in the middle of this weird fucking crater in his room. It's weird.
That was weird. There were a lot of weird things here. I liked it. And I mean, one of the weirder things was them taking the hearts and blending them up and making heart smoothies.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Weird.
But yeah, I liked the whole underground little kitchen where they stored a bunch of hearts in the freezer.
Yeah.
That was
funny. Cool. I mean, yeah, it was all pretty cool.
Hearts blend up really easily. Don't they?
It looks like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked also that. I'm sure I feel like that's probably pretty normal in vampire lore, but I like that the older hearts were not as nutritious as younger hearts. I like that.
I like that too. And I like that vampire hearts.
Yeah, they took it that one step further.
Was even better.
Yeah. That was good stuff. That's small little details like that are just, they help sell the absurd kind of premise we have going on here. I like that a lot. I've never heard that. I also like that scene where, I think it's towards the very beginning, where all the children show up, or all his children show up, and they're discussing, and Augusto walks away, and then his butler, his Renfield, is like, "I love you, sir," and then all the kids say, "I love you too."
Yes, that was funny. That
Yeah.
was hilarious.
I can't put my finger on it what exactly that is, what it feels like, but it's not Wes Anderson.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Like,
because there's like an element of awkwardness there, and Wes Anderson's not awkward. Like, if you want to say something, we're closer here. We're closer on the Lynchian
I was thinking that
spectrum than the Wes Anderson spectrum, but it's not absurd enough in what they say and the actions they're doing for it to be Lynchian. You know, the Lynchian thing. You know, of course, you need the macabre next to the mundane, the M&M.
it's almost like it's almost like our butler dude here is getting onto them like children. Tell your father good night. So whatever does that, like, makes bratty kids even brattier there.
Yeah. I was expecting the butler to say, like, "What about me, sir?" Like, because he wasn't included in what people were getting and stuff. I thought he was going to be like, you know, "I've been with you for longer than these guys have been alive. Like, what's up?" But no. Yeah, no, I think that was probably the funniest instance in that movie. Nothing was laugh out loud to me. I mean, nothing is, but I do think this movie is it made me smile, I guess, pretty much all the way through, because there was just a bunch of fun quips, and
there were a few laugh out loud moments for me. The one that's like popping in my head right now is when he's about to go out and, you know, get some hearts so he could be strong enough to win over Carmen here. And he bumps into the butler, and, you know, he knew the whole time that him and his wife were getting together, and he's like, "You can have her." That was pretty funny.
yeah, that
Like,
was funny.
It's the way he said it, and then the way it came across in Spanish to me was even funnier. I guess just something about the harshness of Spanish and saying things like that makes it just funnier to me.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because I've told you a million times, I can say all the cuss words in English, no problem. But Spanish, I'm not messing with those. Those sound way too harsh.
Those are the words that actually send you to hell.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess maybe it stems from that. Just some stuff is like really harsh, and it's hilarious.
And that's another instance of that weird, not quite awkward, but it's like sort of an awkward situation that's done in a very specific way. I cannot put my finger on what that is. I also like that it's kind of revealed, I guess, at the very end that he could smell the butler on his wife the whole time. So we get another little punch in that. Because, how did he know? Oh, that's how he knew, It's like, that's so funny.
So it is funny. And then another part that made me laugh, when the wife found out that Augusto here bit Carmen.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
That was hilarious. She's like, you bit her? What? And she was so mad. Oh my gosh. It's like a soap opera almost. You're right. It would be a great TV show.
Yeah, it feels like it fits that. Downton Abbey's a little over the top with drama, but like more of your Bridgerton kind of, that, I don't know why, but period pieces tend to be kind of funny.
Yes.
Kind of like we've talked about with Korean soap operas where like just the little things are so dramatic.
Yes.
And it kind of reminds me of that. And yeah, no, I could totally see this as like as a series or a limited series or whatever. What do you think of the decapitation scenes? We got Marie Antoinette's head. We get that kind of echoed through later when Carmen gets decapitated.
I loved all the gruesome bits in this. All of it. The decapitations, him licking the knife, or no, what's he licking? The blade after she gets decapitated in the beginning. Yeah. I love that the butler's head saws it off with a saw by hand. I loved all that.
And then the kids are just waiting for him to be done with that. That's another one of those. I mean, is it a Lynchian thing? I think we might be.
I think that moment would be the closest if we had to pick
and they're
one.
Just waiting for that to happen and stuff. And that is probably the closest Lynchian moment.
And then the horse gets decapitated.
Oh yeah.
The
that was
killings.
awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, all the gruesome bits were.
I don't know.
They were cool.
But I thought in my head, is that a real horse that just got decapitated?
No.
That's what
No way.
I don't know.
No way.
I have
Don't
no
tell
fucking
me that.
idea, dude. It's a good looking fake horse.
This movie would go so fast from like I'm thinking a 3.5
to a 5
to a 0.
Oh shit! The other direction.
The other direction.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm leaning more of like a 2.5. I think.
Oh.
Yeah. It's there's not it doesn't have enough. I don't know. I have to think about it. It's definitely not working too far up there though.
You think if you knew Spanish, it would do something else for you?
I don't think so. I think because it's just not a premise that's gonna. I just don't think there's enough happening. There's not enough interesting dialogue. There's not enough internal conflict.
Do you think if you were Chilean, would it do something else for you?
It might. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a very excellent film for it to be basically slander, I guess positive slander.
Would a similar situation almost...
I guess it's made up slander, I guess. But yeah, what were you going to say?
Would a similar situation... But no, never mind. I was going to say, if a movie was made like this about Trump, how would Americans take it? But, Trump didn't kill nobody. He didn't make people disappear. He didn't do anywhere near of these crazy ass shit this dude did here. So it's not very similar.
Yeah, Trump's not a fascist. Trump's not a dictator. He's not a totalitarian. Unfortunately, we don't have that. Fortunately, I should say, we don't have that reality. But I'm sure in some people's eyes, though, they would love to see a movie.
I think it'd be hilarious.
No, I think I would love to see that movie too, especially made in a similar kind of loving way. This movie, they had a lot of fun making this movie. And if we could see a high quality movie made about any politician, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Especially making fun of America in any capacity and from any angle. We need more movies making fun of America. We can't just rely on Bong Joon-ho to make fun of America. He's all the way on the other fucking side of the world. We need people here making fun of us, And
it would, lighten us up.
Yeah.
Maybe get rid of half the Karens we have out there.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
They aren't taking their own chill pills, so let's just manufacture the chill pill for them, you know?
I'm all for that.
Yeah. No, I'm totally... The self-deprecation and, you know, just lightening up is a total necessity in life. And not to say that the Chileans, you know, need to lighten up, but I guess they probably do too. It's kind of like people who don't move on from catastrophic things in their life. There needs to be some kind of...
Yeah, I mean, that's what he said was the point of him making this film. Or I guess a lot of the inspiration on the satire behind this film
Some closure.
Trying to make people that were put in a really bad situation and some bad history here just make fun of it and laugh about it.
Yeah.
And make a serious thing something we can laugh about.
Yeah, there's something deeply necessary about that. Yeah, I think, if I remember correctly, I think Arthur Schopenhauer gets into a little bit of, basically, if you don't laugh, you'll cry and never move on. So...
I'm there with him, you know?
I did like the bit where she was flying around, too, when she got turned. I liked that. Especially when she made a little contact with buildings and stuff. I was like, this looks really fucking good. I also liked that they all had different fangs.
What do you mean?
Their fangs came out at different places in their mouth.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Like the butler, his fangs were his 2 front teeth. Like buck teeth. He was a buck-tooth vampire. And she had like traditional good-looking teeth, and he had...
No teeth.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of fun, too.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I noticed hers, but I didn't notice everyone else's. Even the buck-tooth guy.
Yeah.
The buck-tooth guy. Huh, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was also kind of funny that his mom just abandoned him when he was little. Or when he was born.
Yeah, I guess I remember her just throwing him in the orphanage.
Well, man, do you have any final thoughts?
Nope.
Do you have a budget guess for me?
I do. My budget guess was $5 million US.
Not Chilean dollars?
Not Chilean dollars.
Well, I unfortunately did not find
Damn.
a budget number for this film. But if I had to guess, it probably was not much more than $5 million. Yeah, I guess we will not know. If I ever see it, I'll let you know, though.
Okay, good. Because, how am I going to know if I'm right or wrong?
Yeah, it's true. I don't know why it's not out there. It's a Netflix movie. You know what I mean? Like, why is that not...
Yeah, Netflix. Why is
about
this not on your wiki?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I know you don't have any... I know you don't make any money, Netflix, but you can at least tell me how much money you spend.
You lost.
But yeah, man, thank you for watching this film with me.
Thank you for suggesting this film.
You're welcome. I hope you look forward to the next Pablo Larraín film.
Dun, dun, dun.
There's a hint for you. He's got like 6 or 7, so.
Shit.
It'd probably be pretty obvious, though. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. This was a good short talk. I recommend the movie.
I do too. I think it's a funny movie, and just try to look at it from a complete satire perspective. Maybe I would rewatch this with that kind of mindset, and it would be a lot funnier than it was initially.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little surprised on how high you are. Not that you're super high, but I thought you were going to be a little more bored by this film.
Oh.
I did, so.
Joke's on you.
Yeah, it sounds like you like this movie a little more than me. Just a little bit, sounds like.
I think so too, by the sound of it. And I mean, the score doesn't give us anything. I mean, you gave it a 2.5 and I gave it a 3.
Yeah, so
your score is higher than my 3s, I would say.
That's kind of true, isn't it?
So,
They carry a little more weight. Yeah, so maybe a little bit more on par then. Maybe we're right there.
Yeah.
We're in the pocket together. Especially coming out of Netflix. Not that sways anything, but a Netflix film, we don't get a lot of great Netflix films, especially. It's usually the shows that are a little better.
Right.
So this is an excellent Netflix movie, really. So, but yeah, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Filmsteins. It was lots of fun. Hope you guys had fun too. Were entertained. learn something. I fucking learned something. I tell you what. But you can join us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday for brand new episodes of the Filmistines. Please come by. Give nice reviews.
Give us your money.
Give us your money.
Just
or else.
$1. Or else. Ooh.
Yeah, just $1.
$1's fine.
$1's great. But until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmistines, and follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching, keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmistines signing off.
Oh shit. Can't do that when you're sick. You want me to redo that?